Today I want to do these trades for the first of the month, April, just because I already marked them up. This is going to be on the 15-minute time frame. We're just going to do this one really quick because I already have it marked up. Maybe we'll go down to the 5 and take a look. But basically, these were the trades. Like here, we're in a clear downtrend from basically start from before. This is kind of a maybe a buy zone kind of situation here. I'll put it here for now. And then this is kind of like a sell zone maybe situation over here. So we had a very strong dump here to kind of end the prior day. Sideways consolidation in about the middle of the range. Is that right? A little closer to the bottom. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess kind of around the middle of the range. A little bit closer, like to the 382. Yeah. Anyway. And then a second leg down, strong leg down. So how can we catch this strong leg down? On this 15-minute time frame, there aren't too many like small bars that we're seeing that kind of give you a decent entry. The first bar that lets you know, I mean, here we have kind of like this descending-ish kind of channel, you could say, right? And then we kind of try and make a strong break out of that channel here right before the daily open. We bounce back up here and then reject off of the open. And then it's just straight down from there, right? Until we get to the bottom for the rest of that leg. So that first opportunity that you could have shorted, this is a short here, letting you know to short, but it's still within the channel, so we're going to wait for the pullback. We get this pullback here. We get this nice bar that dips down, but it closes back up at the high. You can maybe take a short here and put your stop like above here, but it's a little bit more risky, right? So when you get this bar, which goes just a bit higher, and double tops with this bar, 624. Oh, this actually goes two ticks higher to 626. Okay. And then puts in like a decent bar, but this is the follow through bar. So this would be the bar following this bar that on a break of this low that you feel pretty comfortable to short probably is going to break this low. And if it doesn't break this low, it's okay. You can your stop is reasonably close here. Stop probably is going to be up here, about 0.75% away. And then your profit target is just like how this was a full $1,800 move. Potentially from here could get about $1,800. We end up only getting 1,400. So certainly at least a couple percent to be made though. So you do want to be catching this. The next one is, like I said, we don't really have too many like small bars. So I kind of marked every single pullback, every single green bar in this thing would have been a decent pullback that you can either short the close of, the open of the subsequent bar, or you can wait until the low breaks. And every single time, you feel weird to wait for the low to break, but every single time the low breaks, we get a strong bar down. Then we get a green bar, low breaks, strong bar down. Then we get a green bar, small green bar, low breaks, strong bar down. So that's why does that one work? That's kind of like a it's just this ends up being, this is a bull level. Like if you're a bull and you're eager, let's say you've been long from this bar and you're hoping that we're going to go up here, and then we break down here, you see this bar, you're thinking this is decent, but then we go and we take yet another low. Well, you're still assuming that we're in this channel, and we're possibly like, maybe you're thinking like 1, 2, and then this third push out of the channel, and then we're going to bust back into the range. So you maybe buy this, or you like add on to your position a little bit down here, and you're expecting that the next bar is going to kind of go up, and then we'll start a bull run in your favor. And so if you buy this level, maybe if you have a level along in here, you don't want to cut it necessarily, you're holding that or whatever. But if you buy this level, you're probably going to put your stop right underneath it, right? Because if this level goes out here, it could be lights out, right? All this that ends up happening could definitely happen. If you're specifically playing the 1, 2, 3 pushes down, and we need to get back into the channel and then push up higher and then break through the channel, then naturally you're going to put your stop underneath that third push. So stops are going to be underneath this level. So this is a really decent level to short. Same thing happens here. Let's say you think this is going to hold. It doesn't hold. You stopped out here, or maybe you didn't stop out here. Maybe you thought maybe we get one last push down and then we get a bounce. And then you see this, I'm gonna delete this for now. But we can see, right, this is all buying. Everything that's happened in this region throughout the day is only buying, yeah? Okay, so let me delete this just so that we can see more clearly. Um, and by the way, this kind of all overlaps and comes and touches and retests this line. But let's say you think this is the last one down. It wasn't the last one down, and you think, okay, I'm willing to give it one more push down, and then you see this bar, and this bar looks like a decent reversal bar, and you think, okay, this is going to be the one. We're going to push up from here. Well, then you're probably going to put your stop underneath this bar. Yeah. So stop is going to be underneath this bar or underneath this bar. This bar runs. We actually retest that bar on this candle, and this candle, and this candle rejects it and pushes down. So yet another good trade to short below this bar. Even shorting underneath this bar gives you up to 1% if you catch the bottom. This is probably the bar where you close. Why is that? Because it's the exact same reason, the exact same situation that we've been having, right? You get a green bar at the bottom, tries to reverse, and then it doesn't. So you get a green bar here that tries to reverse. This is a better follow-through bar, but it's still an inside bar. So you can either buy above this inside bar on the break, or you can wait to see what type of bar the next one gives you. The next bar is pretty convicted, pretty strong bar, closing near the top, opening at the bottom. So this is the bar. You can buy the break of this and be out of the trade. So all of this, basically these were your opportunities. I mean, literally any of these bars you can short, but it's better to short the pullbacks, right? And if you are shorting the open of the close of the pullback bars or the open of the subsequent bars, you're in much better shape. But you can wait to get that certification of the continuation down by breaking the low where the bull stops are going to be. So that's a good one. Then we just explained this one, and now we start to get into this channeling formation here, right? This ends up being we kind of come back up to this level, and now we're thinking, okay, maybe we're going to have a trading range in this region. So this ends up being the first sign of trouble, but you can't really short this because there's so much momentum of these 6 or 7 bars here that have just been consecutive up back to this level. So we look for a second entry. This bar is that second entry. The reason I have this type of arrow is because this is a failed entry, or this is a failed trade. This you're expecting maybe we're going to come back to the low. It ends up not coming back to the low, and you bust through right here and takes your stop out, right? This, because this ends up taking out the stop above this level, this is also a good entry bar. Shorts are kind of blown out here. Shorts were hoping for like kind of this type of situation, and they weren't able to get it. They got blown out on this bar. Good follow through on this bar. Good follow through on this bar. This is a decent bar to increase your long exposure on, simply because, let me zoom in a little bit more. Simply because we have this strong bar. We're looking for a decent follow through. This is decent follow through in the sense that we're staying above the, basically near the top of this bar. This is a decent follow through as it's an inside bar of this bar, and it's a green bar. So this is a good one to take a long on above this with your stop underneath here. Maybe the stop needs to be all the way down here, honestly, because it's not so unreasonable that we do kind of like this and then continue up. So probably you want to put the stop underneath this level. But in this case, stop underneath this level works out very well. Very, very small, tight level. You could buy this bar as we break above. You could use this bar as a signal as we break above this. And it's kind of trying to potentially reverse, but we're closing near the. This is one of those bars that I would probably buy the close of, and then put my stop like right underneath it or right underneath here if I was being more patient and I was waiting to see what type of reaction we get to this bar. So this is a decent bar to buy too. Great follow through bar here. This is an inside bar near the top, closing on the high. Very, very good looking bar, and you get another almost percent from here. But this is this whole thing is a channel. Great channel too, and it comes back to this level, by the way. This first level where the bulls were hoping to get to, right? Where the bulls were putting their first stop because they were thinking it's 1, 2, 3 pushes down. we end up getting back to that level. And so that's going to be a level where bulls that have held their position throughout all of this are going to probably be looking to exit, kind of break even here, yeah? Some will also be looking to exit break even up here, but they're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Anyway, this is very strong, right? So you're expecting that after maybe two-legged pullback, we're going to start pushing again. So we get one leg down. Here's your high one, fails, and then this is your second leg down, high two. Technically, this is the high two, but this is like an inside bar. Excuse me, high two inside bar. So this looks like the one that you want to take. And then expecting more push to the upside. The reason I don't like this is because this is a very small pullback from this. And the way that the pullback manifests is, even though it does look like one leg down, second leg down, it can all be kind of contained in this channel. So it really looks more like one leg down. So this one doesn't end up working, and you probably want to wait for a second leg down here, right? So this is also a failed signal here, just because bears, again, maybe are expecting that we're going to go like this and then slow and then kind of round it off. This is kind of why I usually like to wait for a third. I usually like to have kind of like this two and then kind of a third that doesn't, like a pullback that doesn't go as far. We don't really get that here, right? We just get first one and the second one here, and then we try and go. This is technically your low two sell signal. Is it really a low two, because we don't really make a higher high from here? So really, this is your low one sell signal, and then this is kind of like a pullback. We have the push here, then for the pullback, this is actually your low one of the pullback, but yeah, this is the signal. I don't like this signal. I wouldn't take this trade, but yeah, this is a trade that potentially people might be taking. If that's the case, that's, they're getting blown out here. Shorts are all getting blown out on this candle, right? We get the second leg down, really strong push. It's hard to take a trade on this candle, but this candle gives you a beautiful entry with the inside bar near the high. That ends up turning into a channel, spike and channel. But this is a great place to enter on this bar. And then any of these bars are all within this huge bar, but this is the best bar to enter on just because it's the most immediate right after. Stop right underneath here. And then we channel. This is this bar here is another kind of small bar. By this time, you're certainly aware of the channel. And so this is kind of like a bar at the bottom of the channel, hopefully expecting maybe some sort of thrust outside of the channel like we do get here. So this is one that you can kind of take, but you also need to understand that you may be towards the end of the channel. It's kind of hard to count here, like 1, 2, maybe a third push up here kind of thing. But this is off of this pullback when you got some nice strength up here, just because we're channeling here. Great strength, 5 bars. Maybe you kind of have like a double top here kind of thing that you're expecting to have happen. We get this pullback bar. This is also honestly a good pullback bar to enter on, just because you're acknowledging the channel, and then really strong push, strong thrust out here. Trying to double top here, and then we're looking like we want to break that here, right? So this little inside bar, and then this is the inside bar that tells you, okay, you can maybe continue to get long if we're able to break above it. We do break above it here. This is almost like an inside bar. It's basically a small bar, but it has good conviction, and it lets you take this one. I think this is probably, thus far on this chart, this is probably the hardest. This is probably the most difficult trade to take, I would think. But then this one makes it easy. We get a really strong thrust out of here, and you just have to buy above it. And it's tough too, because this is the largest bar on the chart, but usually once you get this really large bar, there's going to be at least a 1 bar follow through that is just similar size or maybe even bigger. So you take this one, and you can exit on the next bar, or you can wait until we get a couple, like you get this decent follow through, nice push up, but it gets immediately rejected. This is where you should know bulls are kind of stalling. Small bar here, really small bar, inside bar of this red bar. So on the break below, that's where you can either enter short or you can cut your long. Doesn't really make sense to enter short so much because of the momentum here, but this is a good place, this is a good bar on which to exit the long. Yeah? Then we start to make this little consolidation. Now you can draw this all the way out here, right? But you're not going to be able to do that until we get all of this, right? At the very least, originally, you might have this. So you have 1 push down, little follow through, second push down, and then a really strong push up here that you might try and take a long on above. It actually doesn't ever trigger, so that's okay. But yeah, if it did trigger, it would have ended up not really working out here. Yeah, I don't think it's a horrible. I don't think it's a bad buy to take. Just because this looks so reasonable, right? Like one push down, second push down, but it doesn't trigger, so that's fine. We end up taking yet another low. This was your high one long. This is your high two long. If this is your high two, and like I said, it's not technically the high two because it's really just the high one of the high one. So then you get kind of the high two of the high one. Almost feels like a high two, but it's not really that high two because we haven't taken a new low, right? Um, so you can either count it as, if we're not caring about the high two taking the low, then we would count this as a high three. This would be the high two, and this would be the high three. We don't really like to trade the high threes. Or we would count it as the high two of the high one, which also we don't really like. We'd rather just get a high two, right? So this one ends up pushing up a little bit higher, but this one also doesn't trigger, weirdly enough. If it did trigger, this would not be unreasonable to see either, right? So I guess these are signals that could work out, but they don't work out because they never trigger. They never end up triggering. And then maybe once you see that this fails here, this little small bar might be kind of a short that you might think that we are, by the way, channel or kind of going up this way as well, right? So it's not a great entry here, but if you're expecting that we're going to break down, I guess it's a small bar with a decent-ish entry. Very low probability in my opinion, so I would not be taking this. And yeah, that's kind of the end of it. Then we kind of like do this horizontal stalling, and then we're able to get a nice bar or a nice buy at the open to kind of follow through on this, because after this we are still expecting another leg up, right? Hence why we were eager to buy this. Hence why we were eager to buy this. Neither of them triggered. We shouldn't be eager to sell this. I think it's pretty obvious why this is not a good trade to take, even though it is a small bar and it's showing you very little risk. So yeah, those were the trades of this day, April 1st, March 31st to April 1st. This on the 15-minute time frame. Usually we do one on the 5-minute time frame, but I think this was fine. And yeah, these were some good trades. Like you could have easily gotten a good trade here. You could have gotten a decent trade in through here. You could have gotten a great trade up here. Like this is the main trade that we need to be able to catch, right? When we see this super strong bar, we need to, like, it's always in now. Even though we're kind of at this weird like double top looking region, but like we busted through it. So we're assuming, okay, if we get some good follow through, we're probably going to be moving upward. And you do get good follow through here, and like on these subsequent bars, great follow through. You wait for, if you don't get in through here, you're probably waiting for a pullback maybe to the beginning of the channel that never ever comes. So you need to make sure you're getting some sort of long exposure throughout this region. Maybe on this bar, I should put another one here just because this is a good one. This is a good pullback bar. All right, thanks for watching.